Thank you for watching MMA Oddsbreaker, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Frank Trigg. Yes, that is the distracted Ben, the funky Askren. He's in the middle of watching a bunch of wrestling. Ben, today's kind of a day off for you. And your day off, most people like run around and do their honey-do list or take off and do their banking and their dry cleaning and crap like that. You sit around and watch more wrestling.
Well, it's a morning off, not a day off, because we do have practice at 2 o'clock. We got the Cadet Junior Nationals going on right now. We had a lot of our kids from the Askren Wrestling Academy competing up there. We got 3 left in the All-American round, so just trying to follow them and see how they're doing.
Did you, if you didn't have a fight coming up, would you have made the trip and gone with them?
Yeah, I was actually really upset because Bellator was not supposed to have me fight in July. They were supposed to have me fight in June. So I had everything else set up to go. I was going to coach for Team Wisconsin. It was all set, and then I had to cancel.
That sucks. It really cuts into
yeah.
You do that. Basically, your wrestling coaching is voluntary. Like it's not something you're out there making $1 million at.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, some parts of it, like coach Team Wisconsin, would volunteer, but we have 2 wrestling academies up here, and they're not really volunteer based. They're trying to run a business. They put a lot of money into them, and working to make them profitable.
How hard is it for you to stay up to date on the newest wrestling techniques, and now especially because wrestling's trying to save itself in the Olympics? They've changed the rules again. They've added some stuff, taken some stuff away. How tough is it to stay up to date on all the rules while trying to still pay attention to all the rules of MMA?
It's not bad because I have to stay up to date on the rules because I got to relay those messages to all the kids I coach. So it's not super difficult. And then as far as staying up to date with what all the newest guys are doing, we have a lot of kids come into college men come in to teach wrestling at our academies. We had David Taylor in this spring and Logan Stieber, who are 2 of the best that America has in college right now, and they did an awesome job with the kids. And I even picked up a few things on what they were doing that I hadn't really figured out yet. So it definitely keeps you sharp.
Let's talk a little bit about your fight coming up here July 31st, and I'm probably going to say his last name wrong, but Andre Koreshkov. He's 13-0. You're 11-0. So this is a real big. On paper, it's a real big battle being put together by Bellator. Break down Andre for us as you see him when you're watching tapes.
I think, and I've said this the whole time, I think he's primarily a kickboxer. When I watch his fights, he struggles in the wrestling and struggles on the ground, which I think that makes it a really easy fight for me. At least the last guys, Amasu was mostly a stand-up guy, but he at least had a black belt in judo, and Lima was a stand-up guy, but he's got a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. So they at least kind of have a formidable ground game. Whereas I don't see that same thing out of Koreshkov. He really struggles on the ground and with takedowns.
Does he struggle in the sense that he can't do anything, like he gets taken down but he gets back to his feet? Or does he struggle where he just gets taken down and he's completely out of water when he's on his back?
Yeah, Lyman Good in their final fight in the Bellator title fight, Lyman Good took him down and then had him mounted and took his back and was on his back for like 2.5 minutes. And, I think Lyman Good's like a blue belt in jiu-jitsu or something. I mean, he's not a strong wrestler, grappler type. So, I really think it's a match made for me. I think it's, obviously I don't want to get overconfident, but I think it's one of the easier technical fights I've had since I've had the title in Bellator.
How tough is it for you trying to coach wrestling while trying to get prepared for MMA, but not to the kids? I know that's a passion of yours and you love doing it, but to the other MMA guys over there at Duke Rivers, aren't you still the head wrestling coach essentially for the team?
Yeah, I'm still the coach there. So, one thing I try to do for myself is I try to get myself some other high-level wrestling competition. Besides, so I'll take I'll just say I'll go in there and coach and just do the coaching thing with the guys, and then I will I'll go in and I'll find my brother, for example, who coached at one of our academies. I'll wrestle with him because he's still a highly competitive wrestler. I'll find a couple college guys to go with, and I'll work it out with them. So that way, I'm still keeping kind of my edge or sharp in the wrestling, and I'm coaching those guys so they're getting what they need too.
Now, obviously, this is kind of a loaded question because we both believe that the one thing that everyone's got to learn in mixed martial arts, if you ever want to jump into the sport, is learn how to wrestle. Like, you've got to learn wrestling if you want to be successful in the sport. But it's the hardest of the 3 of kickboxing, boxing, and jiu-jitsu, judo. It's the toughest one to pick up. In Nevada, the kids don't start wrestling until like 9th grade. That's just what it is. There's no like real kids programs. Couture's here started a new kids program. You obviously have a kids program in Wisconsin. from a state standpoint at the kids level, going through high school, let's take colleges out of it for a minute. What are the top 4 or 5 states that you believe that really have the strongest kids programs that are kind of they're feeding into to the college levels right now?
Yeah, Wisconsin does have they're strong at the kids level. I wouldn't say they're one of the top 4 or 5. I think when you're thinking youth and high school, obviously Pennsylvania, you always think of them as number 1. They dominate all the tournaments usually that they go to, and then after that, I think you got California's always strong. They don't necessarily have the success in college that the PA kids do, and then after that, I think it's really a toss-up between a lot of states: New Jersey, New York, Ohio. Those just historically powerful wrestling states.
Yeah.
Illinois is another state that's really coming up. They got a lot of wrestling academies. They've been winning everything lately on the freestyle and Greco scene.
The last two I was going to throw on your list was Illinois and Iowa were the only 2 that I kind of throw in and out of there depending on what's going on.
Yeah, and Iowa goes up and down. Obviously, they have the college program, so they're always strong there. But so they've had some weaker years, and then obviously they've had some really strong years on the high school division. But
it's still been that kind of that East Coast mentality, and always kind of been that kind of grappling, kind of rolling kind of game that's really been the emphasis in wrestling for a long time. Even your style in college was I consider more of an East Coast style because that's kind of the way that we were looked at to wrestle when we were coming up. And of course I'm 100 generations older than you. Do you really try to keep that kind of technical basis because you're a super technical wrestler? When you're teaching your kids and when you're fighting in MMA, do you really try to keep it as technical as you possibly can for wrestling, or sometimes do you have to just throw it out?
Yes and no. Obviously with the kids, you can't get super technical. Now we're getting to the point where we're about 2 years, 3 months into having our first academy, and we're getting to the point where a lot of the kids are understanding the basics, and then we can really go to a higher level with them. But when we started out, we had all kinds of different kids, and they have all different knowledge bases, so it's hard to go to a higher level. And then with the MMA guys, definitely not, because they had literally 0 wrestling, most of them, when I came here. Never wrestled before in their life. Maybe did a little bit with MMA, but almost nothing. And MMA wrestling and wrestling are they're 2 worlds apart. So we just really try to go over the stuff that they need, and for the most part, a lot of them are kickboxers, so they want the fight to be on their feet. So I pretty much work defense with them. How to stay off bottom, how to get up if you end up on bottom, how to work off the cage if someone's trying to hold against the cage. That kind of stuff is what we really work on a lot.
All right, last 2 questions before I let you out of here. Johnny Hendricks and GSP are going to fight here later this year. Who do you think wins that fight?
It's hard to bet against GSP, obviously, because he's been so successful for so long. I've said that I think this is going to be his toughest fight. I think Hendricks is going to come out strong. Hopefully Hendricks isn't totally ignoring the wrestling. He's at least staying sharp because he has, it's been 6 years now since he graduated college. So obviously if he hasn't been doing anything, he's going to have gotten rusty. And St. Pierre's, knee pick and double leg, they are formidable. So you got to respect him. And, if Johnny's staying on point in his wrestling, GSP is going to have nothing for him in the wrestling department. So I think Johnny's going to give him a run for his money, but I think, what I saw in the Condit fight was that he got really tired in the second, third, and after that. So I think the 5-round fight, GSP takes it.
You and GSP, if that fight would ever happen, what would go on? How would it match up?
I think I match up super well with GSP just because, like I said, he's not nearly as aggressive as a striker as he used to be. In his earlier days, he was super aggressive and he was really good at it. And now, he pretty much throws a jab and looks for a takedown. And that fighting style is just not going to work against me. I want someone to shoot on me. I want to be in the scramble. And I'm going to beat him there. And then I'm not going to get tired. I have a huge gas tank. I can go for days. So I think the things that he beats people with right now, I think I would be able to turn back on him.
All right, Ben, thanks for coming on here with MMA Oddsbreaker. Enjoy the rest of your morning off watching Cadet Wrestling. Good luck to all your kids.
Sure.
And,
yeah. I got a Wrestling for MMA series coming out next week, so I just want to let everyone know, check that out. It's called the Manhandling Manifesto. It's all about how I do what I do in the cage. And I think it's going to be the most well-rounded Wrestling for MMA DVD series that's came out yet.
It comes out next week?
The 25th, it comes out. So we'll be posting a bunch of stuff online, so just have everyone look out for it.
I'm actually very interested in, because people don't like, a lot of people that don't know the sport really don't understand the technical game, don't like your style because it looks like you're just blanket riding somebody and you're holding on top, you're not doing much. They don't realize how much crap is actually going on. Every hip position, every toe change, every shoulder position. I'm going to be texting you here in about 5 minutes to give you my address. I want a copy of that damn DVD. I absolutely think I'm telling you right now, I'm being completely honest with you, I am 100% going to be stealing stuff from it to teach when I teach clinics. 100%, because the stuff you do is incredible, and they just don't get it. And when I commentate and try to explain to people what you're doing, I can't get enough information to tell people exactly this is what he's doing. Because it's so technical. All right, well, hopefully
this will let some of the secrets out of the bag.
Perfect, I like it. Thanks, good luck with that, and hopefully it'll be a hit. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen at home, you need to buy this DVD. What Ben does, if you don't understand wrestling, it is one of the most technical things you'll ever see in a match from anybody.